Another Monday, another total body hit. As ever, we got our timer going. 10-second lead in, we start out with squats. You and you guys coming. Warming up, taking it relatively easy. Sit down into your squat. You can use the arms as a counterbalance if you want. Main thing, we're getting the body loosened up and we're going to get the heart rate speed it up a little bit. We keep the knees nice and wide on that squat. Let there be no buckling in with the knees. That's not a squat. That's collapsing. Lie down. Left leg, right arm, we're going to reach for the shin or the ankle, depending on how flexible you are. You exhale as you come up. Inhale as you lower down. Got the head and shoulders down on the mat. We don't want the heel ever to touch the floor. So we're pulling with the lower abdominals here on this left side. And we're opening up the right shoulder. Chest, shoulder, all there. More squats. You know you love them really. I'm going to keep my hands in my boxer's guard position here. Keeps them out of the way. Again, if you want, use them as a counterbalance. That's cool too. Keeping those knees out nice and wide. Think of having a knee tracking towards the toe. That keeps the pain out of the knees. If it's catching you, turn the toes out a little bit or in a little bit. That little adjustment will help. Right leg, left arm. And you will find you're more flexible one side than the other. Getting a stretching on the hamstrings here, on the back of the leg. If you want more of a stretch, keep the toe pulled towards yourself instead of pointing it. Either way will do. We're back to our feet. We're going to add our little bit of rotation in now. So we're going to lead with the elbow when we come up out of our squat. And we release that heel on the back leg. So that heel comes up off the floor. That allows us to pivot onto the ball of the foot and onto the toes. And by getting that little pivot, that means we can bring the hips and the shoulders around as we lead with the elbow. Down to the floor. Same as before, just a little bit more. Left leg, right arm. We come up and down 3 times and then we take the shoulders off the mat. That's 3. Shoulders up. Pause for a moment at the top. So we're making sure that we're contracting the upper abdominals here as well. As ever, you're working with your own range of movement. It's not a competition, except you against yourself. Okay, more rotations in our squat. Again, we're leading with the elbow. Pivoting, releasing that back heel off the floor. One of the functions of our warm-up, as well as getting the heart rate up, getting the muscles warmed up, we're getting the brain warmed up as well, getting the communication between body and brain warmed up, and we're also drilling the movement pattern. Last time, right leg, left arm, 3 on the ground, and then we lift the shoulders. Here we go. So you're trying to freeze at the top of the movement just for a moment. Enough to make sure the upper abdominals are really engaging. Keeping that leg fairly straight. And one more for a look. There we go. Wasn't all that bad really, was it? I know I've got a bottle of water around here somewhere. Who put it all the way over there? We have a sip. Next up, we're into our conditioning phase. So grab your weights, your kettlebell, your elastic band, whatever you have. I'm going to work with a kettlebell. And we're going to start out with our squat to press, staying on the same side. Sit down into your squat. One hand presses up towards the ceiling and the other comes back down behind. Like someone getting too close to you at the till, like they're going to try and pick your pocket. Bang! There we go. They're not picking your pocket anymore. Obviously, I'm not condoning violence. But if it's self-defense, we're switching over to the other side. Always lifting, using the knees where possible. So obviously, more weight here means more work. So both the legs and the arms, shoulders, everything's working harder here than we did in the warm-up. Because the warm-up was getting us ready for this. Last two. Last one. Saved by that bell. Single arm row. Nice long lunge, front knee bent, forming a pillar with the arm. We take our weight. The back stays nice and straight. The movement here, we're pulling the shoulder blade back. Let the arm hang down, pull the shoulder blade back, then pull the hand. So really working all the big muscles on the back. Set it down. Switch sides, same thing. Pillar, hand is over shin. Bring it down, we lift. Pull from the shoulder blade. So it's coming from the center of the back. That's where the pull is coming from here. Obviously you can use your band here as well. I'll use the band in the next round. Mine is the loop band here, a bit short for doing squat to press because I'm such a lanky git. So I'll stick with a kettlebell. And I was a bit slow getting started there, so I'm going a little bit faster than normal. Trying to catch up with you. Damn it, you guys are making me work. Don't you know I'm lazy? I hate work. Here we go. One per look. Trying to get the heart rate back down in those few seconds. Go at your own pace. Push yourself as much as you can. Challenge yourself. You want to be able to make it right through. Each round is 25 seconds. Dig deep, last 3 seconds. Last one. I'm glad that part is done. Use the band now for the row. Foot in front. Pulling from the shoulder blade. Posture stays tall. You're aiming for a straight line from that back heel right through. Leg, hip, back, head. Straight as you can. Switch sides. I'm a little bit out of breath here. Form that pillar. Nice long lunge. And pull. So we're pulling from the shoulder blade, right in the middle of the back. That's where the movement starts. If the first thing to contract is your bicep, check yourself. Shoulder first. And one more for a look. that's our conditioning part done. Take a sip. I'm just going to tidy up. Let's get that in here. I take my sip. Down to the floor for some core. Basic plank, but we're going to start off the knees for our elbow plank. We're on the knees. We've got the core zipped up like you're zipping up a pair of jeans fresh out of the dryer. Start at the bottom of the zip and work up. Squeeze the cheeks. So now your tailbone is tucked. Your core is zipped up. We're going to come up onto the toes for the last 7 seconds. Keep the cheeks squeezed. Head stays neutral. Drop the knees down. We stay here. We're going to come back into this. Zip it up. Squeeze the cheeks and lift. So we're getting a lot more core engagement on this one because we started with that pelvic tilt, that tuck, and that squeeze of the cheeks. Can you squeeze the cheeks a bit harder? Go on, I know you can. Make like you got those buns of steel. Last 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. We're onto our side. Elbow plank. You didn't see that coming. Front leg, top leg is in front. Or if that's too much, bottom leg, bend the knee. You can come up and down here. Otherwise, full length plank, top leg in front always. Keep the hips popped forward. Let there be no bending here. Nice and straight. The hip is pulled up away from the floor here. This bottom hip. Lovely. We go around to the other side. And we do the same thing. Top leg always in front. And again, the hip is lifted up away from the floor. So it's pulled up. If you start to sag, think of pulling. So you're pulling with the underside here, the muscles here. Pulling the hip towards the ribs, pulling the ribs towards the hips. Tightens everything up and we'll lift the hip away from the floor. Lovely. Speaking of hip bridge is next. Feet are planted flat, about shoulder width apart. And we're going to lift the hips up. Control it back down. And we repeat. Coming all the way up. Quickly rolling the back up and down off the mat. So we're not hanging about here. It's up and down. Continuous movement. Now we'll relax for a second here. This time, toes up, dig the heels in. We're going to concentrate the movement in the hamstrings now. So you feel that in the back of the thigh. If your leg starts to cramp, like mine probably will do in a second, straighten it out. Break the cramp before it really kicks in too hard. Up and down, heels down, toes up. Last 3 seconds, 2, 1. Oh, just about. A little bit of a cramp kicking in. We're back over to our side plank here. Our side, top leg is the one in front. You were right. You knew what I was going to say. So we lift it up. Take the arm up. Reach up for the ceiling. Don't just have the hand here doing something useless. Reach. Stretch up for the ceiling. Can you bring the hips up higher? There you go. And you can feel the difference. Body is straighter. Core is working harder. Relax it down. We switch over. We're almost there. Elbow plank again. Elbow straight under the shoulder. Top leg in front. Hand on the hip or reach. Actively stretch it up for the ceiling and pull the hips up away from the floor. There you go. When you're reaching for the ceiling, it helps you keep the shoulders stacked above each other so you're not rolling forwards or rounding up. Reaching for the ceiling, stretch it up. Pull the hips up high for 3, 2, 1. Yay! Super. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't it? Yeah, of course it was. Time for another sip. We're on our feet for the next block. Next block is standing core. We're going to bring the intensity up again. Can move this out of the way. No lying down the job for this one. Standing in a neutral stance, knees slightly bent, hands up, boxer position, jab, jab. So we're going continuous here with our jabs. So in the first round was our warm-up, second round was our conditioning. We hit the shoulders there. Now we're going to start hitting them again. We're going to start building in power. So it's a little bit of a bob. That's why we've got the knees bent. It allows us to move that little bit more without stressing out the joints. We're going to put more power in, more speed. All the time, hands are coming back to that boxer guard position. Coming back to the jawline. Protect the head. We've got a little bit more power in here. We're going to reach a little bit farther. So we're turning more, getting more rotation in, getting more core work done. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Okay, jab, cross, knee. Jab, cross, knee. So once you do the cross, you can leave the hand out there, grab it, pull it down to the hip. We want to bring power in with that knee as well. So you're pulling using the lower part of the abdominals. And the other side. We could never let one side of just all the fun. Jab, cross, knee. So we're drilling the movement, getting the body ready so that in a moment when we add the intensity, you've already got the movement pattern built up. So if you need to rest, this is how you're resting. You keep everything relaxed. Okay. Back to a neutral stance. Upper, hook, upper, hook. So we want a bit of movement here in the hips, and on that hook, release the back heel. So you're getting the whole torso twisted around or turned around. So you're really getting the power in, because it's not just the arm throwing the punch, it's the whole body. But anyway, now we bring the power, jab, cross, knee. So really putting power into that knee, and really putting power in as you're pulling down onto the knee. We're going to add in a hop. Get the speed in there as well. Nice, big, strong movement every time. Switching sides. I gotta take off the glasses because they're gonna go flying. Here we go. Jab, cross, knee. Bring it in, pull it down. So you can fire that knee up straight, or you can kind of come around from the side. Your choice. Whichever one, you can get the most power in. Get that hop. Get your breath back. Real high peak there. We're into our upper hook, upper hook. Every time, hand comes back to guard position. rotation through the core, right from the hips, shoulders, ankles. Everything comes around on that hook. There we go. Get the breath back. Wait for a few seconds before you have a sip of water. If you're drinking, you're not breathing. Breathing first. Once the breathing is under control, we've got 15 seconds to get our sip. Then we're onto the mat. We're down on the floor. We're starting with our Pilates tabletop. In 2, 1, tabletop. Knees straight over the hips. If too much, if you're under too much pressure and your back is lifting, bring the knees towards yourself just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a big movement. This is all about holding the position. Shins should be horizontal. Nice and level. Relax down. Probably feeling your heart pumping in your ears. It's not in your ears, it's in your chest. Back to tabletop. Remember, flatten the lower back down into the mat. If it's lifting, bring one knee in or bring both knees in. Otherwise, keep them back here over the hips. If that's too easy, just take them away a fraction, just a little bit. And you can probably hear there's a bit of a shake in my voice now. I'm straining to keep my lower back pressed down into the floor, keeping it flat. Take a breather. We're going to be here for a while, I'm not going to lie. Back into it, flatten, lift. We're going to reach with fingertips. So shoulders are up off the floor, engaging the upper core, upper abs here. Chin, we've got a bit of space between the chin and the chest, but our head isn't flopping back. Can't be making an easy target for the head, man. Crunched up away from the floor. Relax down. It's getting warm. Here we go, we're back into it again. Tabletop. Crunching up, reaching one leg away. Stretch it away and back. Stretch it away and back to tabletop. That straight leg, the lower leg is beside the other foot. So from the hip, it's roughly a 45-degree angle. We're not trying to get down towards the floor. We're trying to keep it up here. Give the knees a little hug. Curling into a ball and whimpering is optional. We're back to tabletop. Reaching with fingertips. Stretching one away. Reach more with fingertips. Curling up ever so slightly more. Bring it back. Switching other side. Reach again with the fingertips and barely able to breathe. Bring it back. Switch. Reach. Back. Switch. Reach. Saved by the buzzer. Curl up and whimper a little more. Here we go. Tabletop. Crunched up. Right leg only. Tap the toe down. Exhale as you pull it back up to position. Now, the movement does not come from the knee. The movement comes from the hip. Really gets the lower core. Right down into the pelvic floor. And it burns. It burns, dear God, it burns. Give the knees a hug. You're almost there. Same thing, other side. Tabletop, we're crunched up. You can put the hands on the abdomen so you can feel that lower part of the abs working. Sticking with the left leg only. Inhale down, exhale up. Keeping your lower back pulled down into the floor. You can bring this knee closer if you need to. That's your option. Oh, give the knees another hug. Last time. Rock around the place. You're done. After this one. Reaching. We're going to come all the way up. Try and balance here for a moment. come back down. Reach away with the other leg and come up. Try the balance and come down. Reach. Try to balance. Come down. I know it's awful. Give the knees a hug. This is usually where the voodoo dolls are out. They're sticking pins in Mal. Okay, we've had a little breather here. Come on over onto the hands and knees. Walk the hands forward, bring the hips down to the floor. Pushing the floor away with the hands, we're going to lift the chin, the chest, the stomach. Keep the hips down as low as you can. Squeeze the cheeks. Shoulders away from the ears.
Completed.
Almost completed. Take a big breath into the bottom of the stomach. And relax it. Come forwards again. Hips low. And again, one big breath into the bottom of the stomach. And exhale, relax it, come back. Last time. Hips come forward and down. Shoulders pushing the ears away. Keeping the hands pressed down into the mat. Deep breath in. Exhale, come back out of it. And that is that. Total body HIIT. Arms, legs, back, shoulders, chest, butt, stomach, everything. Job done. See you soon.